Alright, second attempt at this video. First attempt was a little too long. I'll try to go a little faster this time. This one we should have already know and done. We're just identifying the angle pairs, which we did last time. Pause it, try to answer these questions. I'll try to go a little quicker, so you should have already done these. First one, angle 1 and angle 3 are corresponding angles. Same place at two different intersections. Number 3, 4, and 5, those are alternate exterior. 3 and 6 are alternate interior, and 6 and 7 are same side interior. Yeah, we should have already had those down. This one is asked us to solve an equation. There's my steps. Again, if you don't understand anything, pause it, try to figure out what my steps were. This is straight up Algebra 1 stuff. We should know how to do this. Alright, when parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the angle pairs formed are either congruent or supplementary. So we spent the last time figuring out how to name pairs. Now let's figure out why that's important. First one, the corresponding angles postulate. So read it. It says if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the corresponding angles are congruent. So if I have this, see those little double arrows right there? That means that lines P and Q are parallel. That's what those little double arrows mean. So if P is parallel to Q, all my sets of corresponding angles are congruent. So angle 1 and angle 3, angle 2 and angle 4, angle 5 and angle 7, angle 6 and angle 8. All my pairs of corresponding angles are all congruent if these two lines are parallel. So how do we use that? Come down here, it asks us for what is x equal to. Well, this and this, these two angles are corresponding angles. And so if this is 118 degrees, that means this one also has to be 118 degrees. This one over here, again, these are at the same place at two different intersections. So 7x minus 3 must be equal to 53. And then we set up our equation, we work it out, do a little algebra, and we solve, and x is equal to 8. And over here, it wants to know what CDF is. CDF is this angle. Well, if this angle is 47 degrees, then this angle also has to be 47 degrees. Again, they're corresponding angles. And so if this one's 47, remember that straight lines all the way across are 180. So if this piece of the angle is 47, this piece of the angle must be 133. 180 minus 47, that angle's got to be 133 degrees. Let's flip. Alright, next set of angles. Again, we've talked about these. Now we got to see what they look like with parallel lines. So alternate interior angles. Again, if my lines are parallel, then my alternate interior angles are congruent. So again, double sets of arrows, which means angle 1 and angle 3, angle 2 and angle 4, my alternate interior angles are congruent. Guess what comes next? My alternate exterior angles. If my lines are parallel, my alternate exterior angles are congruent. So angle 5 and angle 7, and angle 6 and angle 8 have to be congruent. This next one I've got starred. This is the only one that does not match. So corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior are all congruent angles. Notice, same side interior, I've got it starred. They are not congruent. They are supplementary. So my same side interior angles, angle 2 and angle 3, and angle 1 and angle 4, they are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. So the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 4 is 180 degrees. Measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 is 180 degrees. That's the only set of angles that is not congruent. Got a little bit of work they want us to do. Tells me find the measure of angle BDG. Well, let's find what x is. So this angle right here is x minus 10. This angle right here is 105. Those are same side interior angles. So I should be able to add them up, and it equals 180 degrees because they are same side interior. Again, do a little bit of algebra, and I get that x is equal to 85. Right there. Now, if this angle is 105 degrees, then this angle also has to be 105 degrees because they are corresponding angles. So that was EDH, which is right there. Corresponding angles are congruent. And then ask yourself, what kind of angles are these? We've talked about these for a while now. Those are vertical angles. Opposite angles are always congruent. So BDG, this angle, is similarly 105 degrees. Done with that part. Alright, next one. Only thing funky about this one is how cramped in everything is. So I don't know how well you can see it, but they're saying that this 2x plus 10 is this angle, and this 3x minus 15 is this angle. These double arrows again are telling us that these lines are parallel, and these are alternate interior angles. And up above we learned that alternate interior angles are congruent. Set them equal to each other, do a little algebra, and we get that x is equal to 25. And once we know that x is 25, just plug it back in. ABD is this angle right here. So 2 times 25 is 50. 25 plus 10 is 60. And BDE, also 60 degrees. Again, I got more examples that we'll do in class. Try your best to understand why these work, and then we'll talk about them more in class. So now let's kind of work backwards. Now we're talking about the converse. And we spent time in class talking about what converse means. So I told you a while ago, if two lines are parallel, we know the corresponding angles are congruent. Now we're working backwards. Now we're saying, let's say I don't know my lines are parallel, but I know my corresponding angles are congruent, then my conclusion is that the lines are parallel. So if I know that corresponding angles are congruent, then I can conclude the lines are parallel. So in this picture, notice there's no double arrows. So I don't know from the picture necessarily that M and N are parallel. But then it does tell me that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. And if corresponding angles are congruent, then I can conclude M is parallel to N. Okay, that was corresponding angles. Again, it's going to work true with the other ones as well. Alternate interior angles. Again, if I know that my alternate interior angles are congruent, then I can conclude the lines are parallel. So in my picture, it tells me angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. My conclusion, M and N are parallel. Next one, I think you know what's coming. Exterior angles, same deal. If my alternate exterior angles are congruent, then I know my lines are parallel. In this picture, I do see angle 3 and angle 4 are congruent because they each have one arc. If they're congruent, then I know that then line M and N are parallel. And of course, converse of the same side interior. If my same side interior angles are supplementary, then my lines are parallel. So here's angle 5 and angle 6. They are same side interior. Up above, it tells me that measure of angle 5 plus the measure of angle 6 is 180 degrees. My conclusion, M and N are parallel. So let's do some work here. It tells me, given that the measure of angle 1 is congruent to the measure of angle 1 congruent to angle 3, what kind of angles are those? Those are corresponding angles. And if they are congruent, I can conclude that M and N are parallel. What did I use to do that? I used the reason is that corresponding angles are congruent. Name the postulate or theorem that proves M is parallel to N. So again, pause it, try doing these on your own, and then compare your answers with what I'm getting. First one I'm going to do is angle 7 and angle 3. Angle 7 and angle 3 are alternate interior angles. If those are congruent, then by the converse of the alternate interior angles theorem, I can conclude M is parallel to N. If the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 4 is 180 degrees, then by the converse of the same side interior angles theorem, I can conclude M is parallel to N. If angle 3 is congruent to angle 5, those are corresponding angles. By the converse of the corresponding angles postulate, I can conclude M is parallel to N. Angle 6 and angle 2, what kind of angles are those? Those are alternate exterior angles. If they're congruent, then by the converse of the alternate exterior angles theorem, M is parallel to N. This last one, it gives me this. Angle 4 and angle 8. Angle 4 and angle 8 are alternate interior angles. It tells me what x is. So if I plug in x, these are equal to each other. And if alternate interior angles are congruent, then by the converse of the alternate interior angles theorem, M is parallel to N. Alright, now we got something else. It gives me some scenarios down below. It tells me to put A if I can conclude that M is parallel to N, or put B if I cannot conclude that M is parallel to N. So let's do the first one. I already got my A, so I've already told you that they are parallel. How do I know for sure they're parallel? These are alternate interior angles, and if they are congruent, then I know my lines are parallel. Let's go down here. What kind of angles are these? These are corresponding angles. If my corresponding angles are congruent, again, I know my lines are parallel. So why doesn't G work? What kind of angles are those? These are same side interior. So if M and N are parallel, these should be supplementary. If I add these up, they should equal 180 if M and N are parallel. And if I add them up, it's not equal to 180. That's why I know they're not parallel. Let's go to this one. J. So this one gives me 89 degrees here and 89 degrees here. These are not an angle pair that we've talked about. So straight up looking at it, maybe it's not easy to tell if they're congruent, or if my lines are parallel. But remember, these right here are a linear pair. So if this angle right there is 89 degrees, this one must be 91. Because it's a linear pair, they're supplementary, they add up to 180. So now I can compare these two, 89 and 91, because they are corresponding angles, they're the same place, two different intersections, and you'll see that they are not congruent. So they are not parallel. Same kind of deal over here. They gave me 91 degrees here, 91 degrees there. Those are not an angle pair that we have discussed. But if this one's 91 degrees, this one must be 89. Linear pair again. And now these are alternate exterior angles, and they should be congruent if my lines are parallel. 91, 89, not equal, so my lines are not parallel.